about now. I still have not a intro just yet, but it's another box of dogs. You know what it is. It's what it is. It's what it is, baby. And we're live. Hey, it's working. Beautiful. All right. So I just thought I'd come on and talk about some stuff because I don't know, I'm seeing things happening in the world and it's not great. The original title of this episode was going to be You Get What You Fucking Deserve. Because, well, you'll see why in a while. Anyway, the girls are still on holiday, so now I have behind me the Yonshukudama, the world's biggest firework. It's a 240 kilogram single firework that goes fucking boom. There it is, going boom right there. Anyway, folks, how are you all doing out there? You doing well? Having a fun time? Having a good time? Good. I'm glad. Let's get into it. So, the title of the show is The Definition of Holocaust. Because most people don't realize that the definition of Holocaust is burnt offering, which when you go back to the, or burnt sacrifice offering, when you go back and look at the Holocaust, that's pretty much what they did. They sacrificed a bunch of their own people for the good of the wealthy ones. And now what's currently going on in the world, they are now seemingly sacrificing Palestinians, which should be their genetic brothers and sisters, really, although they have no genetic relation to them, although they claim to be from there, but most of them are not. These are Eastern European Jews now in Israel. What's currently happening, which is interesting, is they're rebuilding the Khazarian Empire because they've been having that war in Ukraine, which, if you know about the history of the war in Ukraine, you know that it was basically set up, it was an operation done by a Jewish billionaire media guy. He put Zelensky in place, he gave him the show, and put the wheels in motion to make him president of the country, and then got the war happening and everything rolling, and now they've killed off basically all of the young men, and they are now filling the place up with Jews. So they're rebuilding the Khazarian Empire. They're paying Jews 20,000 euro or whatever it is to go and live there. They're paying people 10,000 to put them up. So they're basically flooding the place. So now the entire place is just going to be, it's going to be the rebuilding of the Khazarian Empire. So anyway, I don't know how far down that particular rabbit hole I want to go tonight because it's pretty fucking brutal. I don't know if I want to cover that shit on the show tonight. Maybe. We'll see when we get to it. See how I feel in a couple of hours. Or however long the show goes. Probably won't do actually a couple of hours. But anyway, let's check in on Mr. William Cooper. I watched a documentary about his death the other day. It was very interesting. There is a documentary about it on YouTube. It was free. Now, if you look it up, they will probably want you to pay for it. But if it pops up on your timeline, it's worth watching.
I mean, how many Jews talk about the Holocaust and haven't got the faintest idea in the world what a Holocaust is? Oh, a Holocaust is a terrible tragedy. Oh, it's a big fire or something like that. It's terrible something. No. That's not what a Holocaust is. A Holocaust, according to the actual research documents, means a sacrificial, ritualistic burnt offering. When Abel and Cain and Abel in the Bible offered up a sacrifice to God, the word in the Hebrew Bible is they offered up their holocaust to God.
Holocaust.
So a holocaust is a ritualistic sacrificial burnt offering. Get it right. Why did the Jewish leaders in this country and around the world use the term Holocaust? Very interesting. I think that they are not telling us the whole story.
Interesting. Another interesting thing in the Princess Bride, which is one of the most based movies you'll ever see if you watch it and can actually like dig out the deeper meanings of things, which is not hard to do. They in that movie they use a Holocaust cloak, and it's to hide. It hides them. They use the Holocaust cloak to appear as this giant monster, kind of like a golem. Anyway, I thought that was very interesting and worth talking about. It's a real. We're in a moment of like really know your enemy. You know what I mean? Like, the things that are unfolding in the world. There is an agenda. There's definitely an agenda, and the agenda is at play. And we're so fucking spoiled in the West. We're just walking right into it. Here's something to know. Here's something worth knowing. The single most important word to understand about the Israeli psyche. This current war that's going on in Palestine, the world is never going to forget this shit. But I get the feeling we're headed into a time where even though people won't forget, no one will be able to do a fucking thing about it.
The single most important word to understand the Israeli psyche is fire. I'm Elon Gilad. I write about Hebrew and Jewish history. Let's take a look at the central concept of Israeliness, starting with its etymology. The word comes from the criminal jargon of Russia in the early 20th century, where it was used to mean non-criminal, and by extension, someone who may easily be exploited, a mark. The word comes from the Yiddish word fayil, meaning a customer of a prostitute, a John, which itself probably comes from a German word meaning suitor. Now, this word arrived in Israel with Russian immigrants in the 1950s, where it took on a life of its own in Hebrew. The closest word in English to fayil is sucker, but it's so much more. It's a cultural touchstone that reveals the heart of Israeli society. You see, in Israel, being a fayil doesn't just mean you're easily fooled. It's more about missing the chance to cut corners, dodge rules, or get ahead by any means necessary. In a society where bending the rules is often seen as savvy, being a fayil means you're the one who plays it straight.
Essentially, it's the opposite of chutzpah. Chutzpah is what they love a bit of chutzpah. And I got to tell you got to have some chutzpah. Have some chutzpah. Don't play by the rules. If you play by the rules, like these people are absolutely right. If you play by the rules in this day and age, see, we used to play by the rules. We had an agreement and everyone played by the rules. And it was all good. The rules were established. And people who played outside the rules, well, they were seen as, not very trustworthy. And eventually, they would often come undone. But now, the world we live in, you need a little chutzpah.
And that's not a compliment. In fact, being called a fayil is one of the worst insults out there. Sociologists have noted that the concept of fayil is closely linked to the Israeli national identity. To be Israeli in many ways is to be aware of the constant risk of being a fayil and to navigate life with the sharpness and savvy needed to avoid that fate. This mentality is seen as a defining feature of what it means to be Israeli, shaping everything from personal interactions to national policies. Now you know.
There you go. Now you know. So get a bit of chutzpah about you. So, That's interesting. We might come back to X. There's something else. I found this fun. Let's just jump over to this. This is really good. Meanwhile, in Australian politics, this may be my favourite video. Hang on, I've got to get it to play from the start. So I'm going to have to start on, there's a little bit of Mark Normand. Okay. I really hate Facebook. Anyway.
Can you just shut up when I'm talking?
I beg your pardon, Councillor.
When I'm talking, this is my time, not your time. When I talk, you shut up, okay?
Oh, point of order, man.
Yes.
Point of order.
Why she's talking while I'm talking?
Why she's talking
taking from
while
my
I'm
time?
talking?
You just keep your mouth shut when I'm
Councillor
talking.
Alf, I've got a point of order.
I never, ever
Point of order,
spoke
man.
when you were talking or having a time.
Councillor Alf,
You show respect. You show respect.
Show me some respect.
You raising your voice is not going to intimidate me.
Councillor.
I'm not intimidated
Councillor
of you.
Alf,
Dare you?
Councillor Alf, I've got
Who do
a...
you think you're speaking to? Who do you think you're speaking to? I am a councillor elected to represent the people.
Then show respect so that you can be respected. When I'm talking, you stay shut.
I'm gonna move an adjournment for 15 minutes.
Yes. Can you just...
So there you go. So the Sydney Council, Australia is basically apparently being run by immigrants and women. In the Bible, it actually talks about the punishment for a nation that's lost its way. You'll be ruled by women and children. This is a biblical punishment. Anyway, let's get back on topic. I just thought that was a bit of fun. It's fun to watch your country burn sometimes. We will bring this, the topics will all make sense eventually. Because, well, actually, there's a video that's going to tie that in. So let's.
There's a powerful.
That.
And you advocate the devil.
It sounds like a guy who is trying to dictate to women how they should dress, how they should behave. You understand that in the West, we look at that as reprehensible behavior.
No, in the West, you objectify women, you commodify women, and you sexualize women, and you have Epsteins and many Epsteins to control.
Well, we give women the freedom to dress how they wish. Why would you decline them that freedom?
In Iran, we have women pilots, we have women scientists. My boss at the University of Tehran, the dean of my faculty is a woman. For the 21 years that I've been an academic at the University of Tehran, 17 and a half of those years, the dean of my faculty was one woman or another. Don't misrepresent Iran. It doesn't work anymore, Piers. Your Western empire is on the decline. The whole of the global South is witnessing the crimes that are being carried out by your regimes. And your declining regimes are now despised by your own people. You're crushing people, students who are protesting genocide. You're not even crushing students who are protesting your own government for something that they're doing at home. You're crushing students for protesting genocide in another country. But you can't tolerate that. And your media is controlled by a group of rich people. They control the narrative, and you call that a democracy. Your choice is either Hillary Clinton or Biden or Trump. And then when that decision is made, the whole of Europe, Canada, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand fall in line as good soldiers. You don't have democracy. And you
advocate the devil. Is he wrong? I don't think he's wrong. It's funny that a country that has modesty laws, here in the West, everyone says, oh, that's oppressive. Maybe. But it works. Meanwhile, we've got women walking around in lace bras. Just a lace bra. And then one of them gets raped and it's everyone else's fault. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but I guess I'm just a white male, and all my white privilege, I wouldn't know anything. So Anyway, this is the point that we were coming to. This video here. This is quite good because this is.
This politician somewhere. I'm only learning about this just now. Where some.
I hear a lot of people talk about sacrifice. Someone said something to me about sacrifice, about how their life was going to be about sacrifice, and what will yours be? Essentially, will yours be about sacrifice? But I don't see a lot of people actually making sacrifices. I see a lot of people making pointless sacrifices. And when it comes to the sacrifice that needs to be made, because you know what needs to be done, and the guy who said that apparently has the skills to do it. But, you know, he has a family, and so he can't make that sacrifice. He's got a family to look after, so he can't do it. So no one can ever do it. Everyone knows what has to be done, but no one can do it. But then every now and then, you get someone who actually does know what needs to be done, and they do it. And the world wakes up and pays attention. So imagine if you got like 1,000 of these adjusters. This guy makes the point really well.
You remember the adjuster, Luigi Mangione? Took out that, well, maybe or maybe not, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. I don't know. He took out that United Healthcare CEO, and then now we've got this guy that wanders into a skyscraper in Manhattan. And the news wants you to think he went to the NFL. No, dude. He went directly to the 33rd floor where Blackstone's real estate CEO was and took her out. Then we've got this politician somewhere. I'm only learning about this just now, where somebody busted into his office and covered him in gasoline and lit him on fire. Turns out this guy did something with these apartment complexes, sold them off to some corporation to where everybody's rent's going to get jacked up. They're going to get evicted. These are all common. These were adjustments. These are all adjusters. There's no the adjuster. Anyone is potentially an adjuster. Out.
Anyone is potentially an adjuster. So there you go. So if you want to talk about making sacrifice, and your sacrifice is to join a men's group that runs a 10K and gets in fights, okay, great. God bless. Do your thing. But you know what has to be done. I mean, I played the video on another stream. Ari Shafir pointed out, sometimes violence is the answer.
To make a, deny a claim on somebody's success that's built on destroying lives. This is where we've made it in this country. When people talk about late stage capitalism and y'all dive into my comments and talk about, oh, that's a myth, and no, this is what it is. We are coming to the end of the game of Monopoly. In that game, you played it growing up, it only ends one of two ways. Either you play all the way through and one person ends up owning everything and everyone else has nothing. That's the point to the game. The original point when that game Monopoly was made was to prove that even the winner loses. Because when you own all of the money and all of the hotels and all of the houses and all of the railroads, everyone else in the game has no money to buy your house, to rent your hotel, to travel on your railroad. That's the point.
This is why they're bringing in the idea of universal basic income. And this is what I keep talking about. The useful idiots out there are all out there saying, we need socialism, we need socialism. We need to abandon this, whatever this is, this capitalism, and we need to go to socialism. What they seem to fail to understand is we are headed towards socialism. We are headed towards the government owning the means of production. But the government will just be the right hand and the left hand of the rich oligarchs who will own everything. Everything will be kept going with universal basic income. No one will own anything. People think this sounds like a paradise. I don't understand where the idea that this would ever be some kind of paradise. I don't know where you get that idea from, but people seem to have this idea that this will be some kind of paradise, and it's nuts. I just don't get it. But we are headed towards that. It's what we're being walked into. We know they've laid out their timeline for us. 2030. 2030 is the timeline. We've got 5 years. It's getting a little pressing.
Or, as it gets close to that endpoint, someone inevitably flips out and flips the table. And
that's what needs to happen.
That's what these adjustments are. These are individuals who are at their wits' end. They've been driven to a precipice where they are forced to either let the end of the game just happen to them or flip the fucking table and make sure everybody loses with them. Mainly the current winners. That's what's going on here. These aren't unrelated. These aren't accidents. But they're also not some like coordinated plot. This is the state of mind of the American people right now. You know, you're going to have to fact check this stat. Fucking you look it up. But I've been hearing a lot over the last couple of years that something like 80% of Americans are one $400 emergency away from bankruptcy. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. Meanwhile, we've got the Bezoses of the world and the Elon Musks. And look, I'm not hating the players. I'm hating the game, okay? Look, let's all be honest here. If we had stumbled into a situation where we had kabillions of dollars and we could buy half of a Hawaiian island to build bunkers and shit like that, we would. Because we'd be looking after ourselves and our own. But it shouldn't be that. I mean, Elon I was talking about, they're projecting by 2030 he's going to be the first trillionaire.
Do you buy that Elon, I mean, I don't know anyone that buys that Elon is this new political party that he wants to set up? Elon Musk, he's shown again and again and again that he doesn't give a fuck about anyone that doesn't make him money. He only cares about making money. He's shown over and over. What a fucking hypocrite that guy is. He likes to be the based guy. He likes to be the guy that's like, I'm based, I appeal. He knows his crowd. He ain't stupid. He's not a dumb guy. He's a bit, you know, he's autistic or whatever the fuck it is with him, but he's just, like he went on and on about the population problem, and the population was dropping off and it was a big problem and we all need to do something about it. And then he brought out the Grok 4 with a little anime slut. A little anime slut that anyone could get. If you got Grok 4, you'd have this little anime slut on your phone. A little AI anime slut. And she'd talk to you in a very sexy voice. She'd come at you with the hardcore, sexy anime voice. Like, if he thinks that is going to help people get out there and procreate, he's constantly working at odds with himself, constantly. So the whole idea that he's going to break the left-right paradigm is just fucking ridiculous. I propose we have a day of adjusters. Remember that movie? There was a movie, I can't think of the name, but there was a day that people would go out and it was like 24 hours. You could go and set things right with people that maybe you had a problem with. So if there was a day that people just went out and adjusted. That might be useful.
I think a lot of you don't have an appreciation for how much money $1 trillion is. I think a lot of you don't have a lot of respect for how much a billion is. A billion's 1,000 million. 1 million seems to be the cap where our brains, we can get there. $1 million, like that's a almost unimaginable number to have just piled up in front of you, but like our brains can get there. Hell, these days that's 2 houses, you know, like we can do that. But then a billion is 1,000 of that. $1 trillion is $1 million. That first number, $1 million on the table in front of you, where your brain's like, oh, I mean, that's like rich shit. That's so much money.
Not anymore.
$1 million of that pile of money is $1 trillion. Something's got to change. Something has to change. And I'm starting to think that these aren't going to be weird one-offs anymore. And don't let the news tell you that the fucking politician that got doused with gasoline and lit on fire, they're like, oh, you know, it was a personal beef. But none of them say what that beef was, what their affiliation was. All we know about the guy is this shady fucking real estate deal he had with the corporation so far. Don't let them tell you that some kid that happened to play high school football went to the, you know, where some NFL offices were in New York. Those things don't have a whole lot to do with each other. I get that there was a football held at one time, but that...
Anyway. I think he's made his point. Yeah, I quite like that for you. But I don't know. I don't agree that billionaires are necessarily the problem or trillionaires are necessarily the problem. I think the problem is the people that work for the billionaires, the people who are selling us out on the daily. Like they're doing what they've done in England with the everyone having to register for the internet. So basically, if you want to use the internet, they want to know who you are. So they want to keep a close eye on you, who you are, what you're doing. So you can't have any privacy on the internet. Well, they're pushing for that in Australia as well. It's coming to Australia next. And they're already on the bandwagon of let's get rid of all the VPNs. Let's not have anyone having VPNs in Australia. So they're already doing that. We're next. It's coming our way. And yeah, so all these things, there is a certain level of urgency to all this. But, you know, whatever. I'm still not terribly invested in any of this.
Is a psychological...
I'm just pointing these things out. I really don't have too much skin in the game right now. But I may have skin in the game in the future. Because with all of these things, you kind of come and go with it all. You know, I used to be very active. I used to do all these things. I used to fucking... And you get tired after a while. When you get shat on enough by people, and all through COVID it happened, you'd be telling people, hey, this is not right, this is not right. People were giving away their freedoms, and you're out there going, hey, we should be kind of... And you go out there and you'd fucking get arrested, and you get thrown in jail. And after a while, you just go, these people aren't worth fucking caring about. And so you take a bit of time, and that's kind of where I am at the moment. But I'll get back to it eventually. And with a bit of luck, more people will come along for the ride this time. I mean, COVID did wake a lot of people up. I'm still very grateful for COVID. I'm glad it happened. I'm fucking glad it happened. It needed to happen to wake a bunch of people up. A lot more people are awake now, which is nice. The problem I see with it is most people that are awake are doing exactly what I'm doing now. We're all doing the same thing. We're getting on the internet and we're talking about it. No, we're talking about it. Great. We're fucking pointing shit out. There's millions of us talking about it, but we need to organize is the point. I do appreciate there are groups out there that may be organizing. I have some connection with them. And, yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess. Here's a little something from Greg Reese that I thought was very good. Greg Reese, by the way, said someone asked him on Twitter why did he stop working for InfoWars. And he said, I don't like pushing people in the left-right paradigm because I don't think it's good to do that. So I quit. Because that's what InfoWars is. It pushes everyone into the... Like, Alex Jones is, you know, as much as Alex is great and everything, he does push people into the left-right paradigm. He's all hardcore Trump. He still won't speak out against Trump. He won't speak out against the war in Israel. I mean, I don't blame him because, you know, after you've been sued for $1 billion, you might be a little more cautious. What's great is that his juniors at InfoWars, the other reporters, the other guys, the other presenters, they're going hard. They're going hard at it. And I respect Alex Jones for not reining him in. So, you know, Alex is still doing his thing, but he is very much, the InfoWars is very much part of the left-right paradigm.
The agentic state is a psychological condition where individuals see themselves as agents executing the wishes of an authority figure. This concept was explored in Stanley Milgram's obedience experiments, where participants administered painful electrical shocks to others under the direction of an authority figure.
Volunteers were told they were taking part in scientific research to improve memory.
Would you open those and tell me which of you is which, please? Teacher. Where? Teacher.
Separated by a screen, the teacher would ask the learner questions in a word game and administer an electric shock when the answer was incorrect. He was told to increase the voltage with each wrong answer.
Cloud. Horse. Rock. House. Answer. Wrong. 150 volts. Answer. Horse.
Oh. Experiment. That's all. Get me out of here.
There's an interesting aspect to that Milgram's experiment, which I think was kind of overlooked. If you listen to that moment there, you can tell the guy is acting. I think there's something in people that you can tell when people are acting. I discussed this with Axel the other day. We talked a bit, or I brought up physiognomy, which is a science which is now disregarded. They say it's a bullshit science, and there's, you know, it's nonsense. But the reality is, if you look into physiognomy, there's a lot to it. It's like astrology gets, you know, shat on. But if you understand the way the universe is essentially, in the same way that science now says that, well, we can predict everything and there's no free will. If you look into astrology, there's a lot of that about it. It gets thrown in newspapers and stuff, and it's nonsense, that kind of bullshit. But when you go deep into it, and numerology, you're speaking the language of the universe because it's mathematics and it's numbers. Dr. Turi, I think it is, predicts terrorist attacks with incredible accuracy to the point where he's had the FBI turn up and he does it through astrology. So, you know, there's something to it. And physiognomy is one of those things that all around the world, different cultures, like in the same way that there's all these different cultures all around the world that never really had any connection with each other, didn't talk to each other, but somehow came to the same conclusions with religions and with truth and with their understanding of the nature of reality. All these different cultures around the world, the Chinese, Europeans, they studied physiognomy and they came to the same conclusions. People who, you know, they weren't interacting, they weren't sharing notes, there was no internet, yet they came to the same conclusions. So how the fuck does that work? Yet we're told to ignore it because, interestingly, the people who tell us to ignore it and say it's a poo-poo science, it's a nothing science, are the people who, if you look at them, you can see it on their face that they are liars. You can see it on their face that they are deceptive because these are all shown on your face. I truly believe people wear their souls in their physical being, and over time you change and you become an outward representation of your inner self.
These experiments showed that the agentic state leads to a loss of individual responsibility. Those involved believe they are simply following orders and doing the right thing.
There was a time, I suspect, when men and women could give a fully human response to any situation, when we could be fully absorbed in the world as human beings. But more often now, people don't get to see the whole situation, but only some small part of it. There's a division of labor, and people carry out small, narrow, specialized jobs, and we can't act without some sort of direction from on high. I call this the agentic state.
Speaking of the agentic state, I just got a message from Elon Musk, and he says you should all subscribe to this channel. You should like this video. He would know.
The individual yields to authority, and in doing so, becomes alienated from his own actions. The person has a choice. He or she chooses to become agentic. But once you assume the role, it's almost impossible to go back.
Published in May of this year by the Global Government Technology Center in Berlin, a proxy of the World Economic Forum, the Agentic State White Paper outlines how agentic AI will revamp 10 functional layers of public administration. The white paper states that in an era increasingly characterized by polycrisis, interconnected and cascading shocks ranging from pandemics and extreme weather events to cyber-physical attacks, financial instability, disinformation campaigns, and even conventional warfare, traditional crisis management models are under strain. Threat actors are already adapting. With AI, they can automate, scale, and personalize attacks at unprecedented speed. Governments, by contrast, are often still operating with institutional reflexes, shaped for a slower, more linear world. One of the main proposals is something called simulation infrastructure, where every individual is given a virtual twin, and everything we do will be analyzed and simulated with the idea that these simulations can be used for knowing the future actions of an individual or a group.
Minority Report. This is exactly what we've headed into. They've had this for years. They actually were signing up people. So it was quite fascinating. There was this happened before the pandemic, I think. I remember it being on Facebook. They had this new thing. They were letting people sign up, but they were limiting the numbers. And you would give this thing access to yourself, and it would make a digital version of yourself. And it's very useful because you could interact with yourself and you could see, well, this is what I'm like. Here's how people perceive me. This is what, a very useful tool. But that's not what its purpose was. Eventually, I think they got to about 100,000 people and they shut it the fuck down. Why did they shut it down? I think they shut it down because they realized it was better to not have anyone know that this is what they were doing. But they can absolutely run these models. You will have a ghost version of yourself, a digital version of yourself, and they will run these fucking things. They will know what you're thinking. They will know what you're doing. They get so much information already. The amount of information that they get, Palantir aggregates all the information. Information like your medical history, all of it. Every time you go to a doctor, every prescription you get, everywhere you go on a freeway, blip, registers your license plate. You go down the street, registers your license plate. There's going to be they've got those smart cities in England now, the ones that have, and people are cutting them down. See, that's great action. Those guys are fucking legends. Anyone out there know how to make thermite? That'd be a useful thing to know. Anyone? Anyone know how to make thermite? That'd be a cool thing to know. I think that'd just be for no reason. No, I don't want to do anything with it. It's just one of the, I just have a fascination with science and chemistry, and thermite's one of those things I've always wanted to know how to make.
The report claims that when a crisis begins to unfold, AI initiates the first steps in crisis response before human-in-the-loop structures have time to react. These agents will work alongside increasingly autonomous physical systems, such as drones and robots, forming the backbone of a responsive, adaptive crisis infrastructure. Co-founder of Oracle AI, Larry Ellison, explains how this might look in the near future.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior.
No, they won't.
Because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
Eventually we'll have to be, but for a time, there's going to be an incredible pushback against all this shit. When they start clamping down, when you've got the cops turning up at your door because of some bullshit, people will push back. There will be a group of people that will push back. There will still be all the usual suspects that will be like, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you've got nothing to fear. Those fucking idiots who don't realize they're being watched in their own houses. People that put Syria, or what's that goddamn Amazon thing? People that have those things in their houses, and their houses are hooked up. And I know plenty of people that has these things, and you can control things from your phone, but also like your smart TV is watching you. Don't think your smart TV isn't watching you. Your smart TV can watch you. It knows what you're doing. It analyzes your facial features. It goes, oh, they responded well to this. You're cattle. We are cattle to these people. People go on about, oh, we're the goyim to the Jews, but it's not just the Jews.
And it's unimpeachable. It's not people that are looking at those cameras. It's AI that's looking at the camera. No. You can't do this. A drone goes out there, get there way faster than a police car. There's no reason for, by the way, high-speed chases. You shouldn't have high-speed chases between cars. You just have a drone follow the car. I mean, it's very, very simple. And the new generation of autonomous drones.
And who are you, little fella? Come to show them where I am. Not nice.
Not nice.
Greg Reese reporting.
Greg Reese, what a legend.
The Reese...
Guy's great. I do not know why that has done that, but anyway. I'm currently making do with the setup that I have, which is not entirely ideal, but I'll go do a bit of shopping at some point and buy some more tech stuff.
I'm from the same.
Now, this is an interesting video. This is from the controversial coach, I think it is, Chalky. But yeah, when people tell you who they are, believe them. And when other people tell you who people are, believe them.
Heed this warning from the UK. Watch this.
Because I'm from the same land they're coming from. They are barbarians. They are barbarians. They will pretend they are good. They will pretend they are very happy, good-faced man, sir, madam. Once they get established, they will you. They are the time bomb. It's a time bomb ticking. Believe me.
The people that first immigrated were running from these agendas. The people that are immigrating now are the agenda. Now remember that. Your government know this. Look at the UK. It is in pandemonium. And Australia is not fucking far behind. Remember, borders are not fucking racist. There is nothing wrong with you standing up for Australian culture. Stay proud, stand true, and that's my take from the controversial coach. If you don't like it, fuck off. Chalky out. Heed this warning from the UK. Watch this.
Because
yeah,
I am from
that's
the same.
that's kind of what I was talking about with that first video I played with the immigrant and the fucking woman arguing at each other, just yelling at each other. I mean, that's the future right there. That's what we're looking at. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, that is the... I kind of do like... I think there should be more screaming in politics. But it should be politicians screaming, "No, please don't kill me. Please don't shoot me." That's the kind of screaming I want to see going on.
And now...
Not this fucking, "You really respect me, respect me." Shut the fuck up, Jesus. I don't know, I don't understand how anyone thinks that we can ever get anything done with the state of politics where that is the state of politics. I mean, these people can't communicate. You know, let's hear from Nick.
If the entire world is against Israel, and it is, if the entire world is against Israel's war, and it is, almost every country in the General Assembly voted against Israel's war.
It's every country except America, and America is the one that counts. However, once again, if everyone stood up to these fuckers, they would have to take heed. And if people paid attention to what's going on in Ukraine, they have to take heed.
And now even countries like France and the United Kingdom are calling for the war to end. They're going so far as to recognize Palestine. If in America, the majority of the people are against the war, then that means the world's population, the billion Muslims, the people in the Middle East, the people in China and in Russia, the people in Europe and the United States, if the whole world is against Israel and the whole world is against the war and they vote against it in the UN, and they do an arms embargo, and they revise their trade relations, and their leaders speak out, but the war keeps going. Country in the General Assembly voted against Israel's war. And now even countries like France and the United Kingdom are calling for the war to end. They're going so far as to recognize Palestine.
Do you think that'll do anything?
In America, the majority of the people are... If the entire world...
Fuck, I keep trying to hit pause, but I hit the thing. this monitor is not ideal. I'm missing quite a bit of it. Anyway, do you think that'll do anything? Do you think that the UN recognizing Palestine will do anything? Do you think it'll make any difference? I don't. I tend to think the UN tend to be I don't know. What are they going to do? Send in observers?
The people in the Middle East, the people in China and in Russia, the people in Europe and the United States. If the whole world is against Israel and the whole world is against the war and they vote against it in the UN and they do an arms embargo and they revise their trade relations and their leaders speak out, but the war keeps going, what does that tell you about the world? What does that tell you about the world and who runs it? All the countries in the Middle East are against it, but they will not lift a finger to stop it.
You know, Donald Trump, I believe, is very invested in keeping his record of no wars. He wants to go down in history as the president who stepped in and there were no wars. And he snuffed out the wars very quickly. But the reason these wars happen, it's not really because of geopolitics. It's not like all that shit can be sorted out in other ways. But these wars happen because the military-industrial complex says, we need to make some money. We want to make some fucking money here. So can we make some money? Who can we bomb? So Donald Trump's answer to all that was to get the world to increase its military spending. But at some point, they would have to drop these bombs. It was the most short-sighted plan I've ever heard when it comes to, how to avoid these wars. It's just this insanity because we are run by warmongering demons. The world is run by warmongering demons. I mean, I'm very grateful that I don't live in a country that is constantly under threat of being bombed by America. But, you know, if you piss off the big dog, like Iraq pissed off the big dog, like when they tried to fucking kill George Bush Sr. and George Bush Jr. got in, he's like, they tried to kill my father. I don't know if you've seen the Chappelle skit where he's president. They tried to kill my father. Yeah.
Every single country, even Israel's allies, Egypt and Saudi Arabia, Turkey and Iran, Syria and Lebanon, Iraq, every country in the Middle East is against this war. They cannot, will not lift a finger to interfere and stop it. Russia and China, the rival superpowers, they are against the war too. Cannot and will not lift a finger to stop it. They're unwilling, they're unable. Increasingly, all the countries in Europe are against the war, some more than others. And the people in the United States. But the war goes on. Why? Because the United States is backing them. Because the most powerful country in the world by far is backing the war unconditionally. And that support for the war is insulated and immune from domestic political pressure. No matter how much people hate it, no matter how much people are against it, no matter how unpopular it is, the U.S. government will support it under Biden, under Trump.
The only way to stop this is to make war no longer profitable. You got to hit them in the money, or you got to hit them somewhere close to home. Now, I don't know how you possibly hit them in the money. You can't. So you have to hit them somewhere else. You have to personalize this shit. It's the only way it will stop.
We are holding back every Middle Eastern country from interfering. We are holding back Russia and China from maybe negotiating a solution. We are using our influence to stop Europe from criticizing the war. Israel runs America. America runs the world. It's as simple as that.
Yep.
That's too much power. And they want us to believe they're the victims. Isn't that interesting? They are the ones perpetrating the genocide in a twist of fate. They are enforcing a genocide against the wishes of the whole world that wants it to stop, that just wants to stop seeing videos of children starve to death. And they say they're the victims. They talk about the Holocaust that happened 80 years ago. They say they're the victims of anti-Semitism. They say they are afraid. Have you heard that? Steiny from Nelk told me, I'm afraid to be a Jew in America. Well, imagine being a Palestinian in Gaza. If you're a rich podcaster in America, if you're one of these rich Jews, of which there are many, who say, I don't like this political culture in America. It's getting hard to be Jewish in America. Really? Can't be worse than Gaza. Imagine being a Palestinian Arab Muslim that's hungry. Imagine being a malnourished 4-year-old in Gaza whose house was exploded by bombs, whose parents died, who is starving to death on the side of the road. Imagine being one of those people. And then hearing from a rich Jew in New York, it's just so hard to be Jewish in America now because someone yelled at me in the street today.
That is, it is the images that are coming out of Gaza are fucking horrific. I can't remember who it was, but someone did the New York Times did a story and they put up a picture and then someone debunked it and said, oh, that picture is of a kid that has some kind of disease. That's the reason he looks starving. I don't think they have to fake this shit. I mean, I can't avoid the news now. Where I am now, the news is always on. So every day I'm seeing the news. This is what people are seeing. You go on social media, you listen to politicians, and they're like, Israel's our greatest ally. These people are, they're justified. And you go on social media and Jews are going, it's unsafe to be a Jew, will you hide me? And blah, 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 blah. And full support for Israel, what they're doing. And they keep accusing Palestine of doing exactly the thing that they're doing. And then you turn on the news, you see the news, and it's like, headline, we thought yesterday Israel did the worst thing possible. We didn't think they could do anything worse, but today it turns out they topped themselves and they did the worst fucking thing possible. It's fucking phenomenal.
Imagine you're a malnourished 6-year-old. Your whole family was murdered. Your whole family got shot in the back of the head trying to get food. And you have some rich Jewish celebrity say, this anti-Semitism is out of control. What about the victims? What about the Holocaust? The Holocaust, what about what's happening now? And who can stop it? Who's going to stop it?
It's very unfortunate that in that kind of situation, it's very hard to know what to believe coming out of there. Like the shit that's coming out of there, it's really fucking hard to know what to believe. That's not the one, that's not the one. That's not the one. I've got a... Okay, this is the one. This discusses... this is the one I'm looking for.
No. Oh, it's amazing that you mentioned the number.
This discusses October 7 because there's so much bullshit surrounding October 7. I was tempted to pull up a video, but unfortunately the video is on Rumble, so the ads make it a little difficult to watch and difficult to watch on a stream. But there is a video of Max Egan interviewing a guy who breaks down a lot of the videos from October 7 and proves that they are AI videos. The videos that came out of these horrific things happening and the attacks and this, that are supposedly these people wearing body cam And a lot of them, it's like when you watch stuff of the moon landing or nuclear blast, and you're like, who's operating the camera? What happened to the camera? But these videos were brought out, and if you remember, just after October 7, they kept saying, "Oh, we've got videos," and they took the press into a private screening, and they showed them videos from October 7. They were like, "Look, see these terrible things they did," but for some reason, they wouldn't show us these videos. They weren't allowed to release the videos. They showed them the videos, so all these reporters kept coming out and going, "Oh yeah, it's terrible." And on first watch, these videos, you would go, that is real. It's not until you look deeper into the videos and you analyze them closely that you see the indicators and the markers that show that they are in fact AI. A lot of the things are quite obvious, but you don't pick them up, not on first view. A lot of the indicators of AI, you have to know what you're looking at. And AI video wasn't as prevalent as it is now back in, what was it, 2 years ago? Coming up 2.5 years now. So the videos that the press was shown, that they subsequently then came out and said, yeah, oh, it was terrible. Oh, it was really horrible what they did. I wouldn't be surprised if they were AI videos. I mean, we don't, they're still maintaining so many lies from October 7. It's nuts. But it's interesting, the numbers, because the reality of the numbers and who did it, because we know what the Hannibal Directive is. The Hannibal Directive is basically, if they're taking hostages, just kill everyone, including the hostages. It's like in Speed, shoot the hostage. I think he got that line from Israel, from the Hannibal Directive.
How many civilians were killed on October 7th?
For Israel, let's say it was 800.
373.
Let's say it was, they say it was 1,400.
No. Oh, it's amazing that you mentioned the number. Because October 7th...
Well, I didn't make it up.
No. You were right. October 7th, the first number that came out was 1,400.
Right.
Then it was revised to 1,200. Then the final was 1,129. 373 of them were civilians.
Right.
56 of them were military and police. So 370. Why do you think the number came down from 1,400 to 1,129?
Because it was inaccurate.
No.
Why?
According to Israeli official, because so many bodies were so burned and so stuck together, they could not distinguish the fighters from the Israeli hostages, right? So that much fire that burns the body that much, do you think people with machine guns on motorcycle have that kind of fight? No, that was the firepower of tanks and Apache, and according to Israeli witnesses, Israel was a lot, according to a Hannibal Directive, if people would like to actually look that up, Israel actually killed many of those hostages on the way out. As a matter of fact, one of the soldiers said, I saw a car running back to the borders, and I know that there were hostages, so I thought of killing everybody instead of taking them hostage. And that is so effective. You understand what the soldier said? He was like, okay, if they are dead, there's no hostages, there's no rescue effort, so now I have saved one shift. This is amazing. Basically, like their idea of not negotiating with terror is not have anything to negotiate about. And those pictures of cars that were incinerated and burned to a crisp, this is not the fire. And this is another thing that I want you to do, Chris, because nobody talks about this. The Hannibal Directive and how Israel has messed up this has been talked about for months in Israel, and not a single American news person have talked about that.
Yeah, so the bullshit continues. Anyway. I apologize. This episode is a little bleak. I just every time I go on X, it's just the same shit. We are going to lighten things up eventually, go in a different direction. I just wanted to cover those things because they are so fucking retarded. All right, so yeah, those numbers from October. So, all right, so let's hear from.
The more her own work,
Let's
and
hear
thus her own position.
some wisdom from the mustache man. This is some. This is the kind of. It's the AI thing. There's a lot of good stuff about AI. These translations of the Austrian painter's speeches are really quite fucking amazing, because it's now people are going, oh, that's why Germans listened to him, because he spoke the truth.
The more masculine a man is, the more he is undisputed in his sphere of influence from the very start. And the more feminine a woman is, the more her own work, and thus her own position, is conversely uncontested and undisputed. And the mutual respect of the sexes for each other will ultimately not be achieved by the rules set up by two different formations, i.e. the formation of men and the formation of women. Instead, it must be acquired day by day in real life. The more a man is faced with a woman who is truly female, the more his arrogance will be disarmed from the very beginning, so disarmed that at times it might be unbearable. And conversely, the more a man is a whole man and carries out his work and his life task in the highest sense of the word, the more the woman will find her natural and self-evident place beside him. In this constellation, the two can never cross each other on their life paths. They will instead join one another in a wholly shared great mission.
Wise words. This is why I keep saying, when women complain and say, where are all the real men? Well, you fucking wiped that shit out. The boomers, that whole fucking hippie movement, giving women the vote in the first place, that was a big mistake. My hope is that fifth wave feminists will come out and go, you know what, we're not going to vote. We're going to stay home and be in the kitchen. Why would you buy a woman a watch when there's a perfectly good clock on the stove? Oh, let us do our thing. You'll get your wish. Man, that dude had some good fucking, some killer speeches. I'll have to read his book again. Joe Rogan discusses Mexican pilot. So, this is an interesting story.
It was explaining through this guy's
Mr.
voice
Ballin.
that the human race is the only intelligent race in the universe that still uses war and still kills. The Mexican pilot was flying, and in the middle of his flying, he got confused. He didn't know what the fuck happened. He fell asleep.
My computer's really
and he
being
woke
a
up
bitch
and he was
right
over
now,
the
but
ocean.
anyway,
And he's like,
let's
how
just
did I
do
get over
this.
the ocean? This doesn't even make any sense. Okay, so this Mexican pilot was flying, and in the middle of his flying, he got confused. He didn't know what the fuck happened. He fell asleep, and he woke up and he was over the ocean. And he's like, how did I get over the ocean? This doesn't even make any sense. And the amount of gas that was missing from his plane didn't make any sense that he was able to get this far. And what they're saying, and there's a recording of this, is that this guy went into a trance and was channeling some alien intelligence that was explaining through this guy's voice that the human race is the only intelligent race in the universe that still uses war and still kills people and engages in large-scale conflict and has nuclear weapons, and that they have to stop doing this or that someone's going to step in. It's a crazy story. Play the story.
Someone's going to step in?
Could we play it? Some of it?
I don't know.
Just to give credit to Mr. Ballin?
Well, I have to find out what the
Well, everybody should just go to it. If you just tell me how to go to it, I'll just drive people to see it.
His Instagram account with Tom, but he's got a really good YouTube channel too. Where he goes into all sorts of wild stories like this.
Yeah, but this was a great one. And then there's an actual audio recording of this guy saying this. Here, I'll send you the audio recording, Jamie.
All right, so the
find it real quick. I forgot. I sent it to
It's really
Tom.
pissing me off because it won't let me pause for some reason. Yeah, that story has been hidden by the to get that story, you've got to go to the Mexican government and get them to release the files on it. But yeah, guy flew out, took off, headed out on his first solo flight, and he lost control of the plane. He couldn't steer right, he couldn't steer left. He just started ascending through the clouds, and it was very foggy. You couldn't see what was going on. And then the next thing he knew, he was flying in a circle over the ocean. And he thought he'd fallen asleep or something, or he'd passed out. But then there's like an hour where someone had taken over, some entity had taken over his body and was talking, and the whole thing's recorded on his flight recorder. And they were saying, yeah, you're headed for a nuclear holocaust or a nuclear war, and you need to pull up, you need to stop it. Which kind of sounds like the Democrats of the universe. They claim that we're the only intelligent species in the universe that still fights wars. I find that a little fucking difficult to believe, but apparently these intergalactic beings want us to disarm. Now, why would they want us to disarm? This is why I think we've been invaded by intergalactic Democrats, intergalactic lefties. They've come over and they're taking over pilots. Fun times.
Here's what it said. Dear Mom, it is with great regret and
Anyway, this is quite good. I like this one. This kid's going places. Check this out.
When I got home from work yesterday, I was passing my teenage son's bedroom, and the bedroom looked amazing. His bed was made, everything was picked up. Well, then I seen a letter on his pillow, and I got closer to it, and it said, Mom. Well, my hands were just shaking, and my son wasn't home, and I was like, well, I wasn't sure what to expect. So I opened the letter, and here's what it said. Dear Mom, it is with great regret and sorrow that I'm writing you. Tiffany and I decided to elope. She is so nice, and I just love her tight clothes and motorcycle and her piercings. But that's not the only reason I ran away. She's pregnant. Tiffany assures me that we will be so happy together. She already owns a trailer on the south side of town. She has enough firewood for the whole winter. We share a dream of having even more children. She's also convinced me that smoking pot has never really hurt anyone. So we're growing some for ourselves and to trade with other people in the trailer park. Don't worry, Mom. I'm 15 and I know how to take care of myself. We'll be back to visit soon so you can get to know all of your new grandchildren. P.S. Mom, none of the above is true. I'm over at Carl's house, and I just wanted to remind you that there are things worse in life than a bad report card. Mine is on the kitchen table. Call me when it is safe to come home.
Very good. Well, the kid's a champion. If that's true, the kid's a champion of creative writing. Anyway, are you guys familiar with a comedian called Ismo?
We have to pay.
This is a really good bit about world debt that I found very entertaining. I wanted to play you guys. We owe this money to banks.
It's so weird how the whole planet can be in debt. But I think it's possible because countries don't owe money to each other, but countries owe money to banks. And if the countries owe money to banks, how stupid are the countries to pay it? Like, because a country has an army. The bank has 4 cashiers and a cleaning lady. We have to pay. They have threatened us. They sent us a letter. If we don't pay now, they might send another letter. What do we do then? We have a nuclear submarine. But they have a stapler. Like, it's so weird. Like, I'm sure that if, like, for example, Genghis Khan would have, like, in his time borrowed some loan from some mortgage from some bank, I'm sure that he would never have paid it. Like, the bank at the door that you have to pay. Well, I have 10,000 horsemen with spears. Do I really have to pay? No. But it will affect your credit rating.
Makes a good point. Who the fuck do all these countries owe money to? They owe money to each other, apparently. It's just this back and forth of we owe money to you, you owe money to us. Anyway, that's crazy. I'm going to wrap this up because I'm hungry. I'm going to go cook a steak. It's, what is it? Oh, fuck this monitor. I hate this monitor so much. It's 1:30 in the morning, so I'm going to wrap this up and go cook a steak. It's a perfect time to eat steak, 1:30 in the morning. Been hitting the gym each night, and each time I go to the gym, I do more. I get stronger. I lift more weights. I run further. It's feeling good. Making progress.
Amen. And let me tell you, after that high pace.
Here's a guy who hits the gym regularly. This is Bryce Mitchell in Abu Dhabi.
You took a big knee in the first round, came back in round 2 and 3. That was honestly my hardest fight, I think, ever. I never complain, and I always thank Jesus Christ. Remember, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, against spiritual wickedness, evil powers in high places. Arm yourselves with the full armor of God, the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth, walk in the sandals of peace, most of all the shield of faith that blocks all fiery darts of the devil, and the sword, which is the word and the spirit of God. Amen.
And let me tell you, after that high-paced fight, for him to remember that verse right there, that's impressive on its own.
The thing is, people are saying on that video, they say it's really impressive for him to say that in Abu Dhabi. But the thing is, people in Abu Dhabi, they don't mind Christians. The people they don't like is atheists. They don't want atheists coming to their country. They don't like them. So I don't think it's like quite what they're saying, that it's super brave of him to say that. All right, yeah, there's the there's the video of what they're up to in Ukraine. I'm not going to cover this right now. I might cover that another time. Or maybe I'll let, if you want to find it, go find @use_Yandex on Twitter, and you'll see some crazy shit. Anyway, I'm just going to wrap it up with this. This is an interesting thread. I found this thread really fucking crazy. So here is the most unique traditions. Here you go. The most unique traditions around the world. A thread. That's great. Lip plates worn by the Mercy people in Ethiopia. That dude is never without an ashtray. That dude should be hired at parties to go and take drinks around on his lip plate and be a walking ashtray for people. Just put your fucking thing out on it. Put your cigar out on it. In Denmark, if you reach the age of 25 and aren't yet married, you get tied to a chair and pelted with cinnamon. How about that? Did anyone know about this? I had never heard of this. In Denmark, if you hit 25 and you're not married, it's pretty fucked up, because if cinnamon gets in your lungs, people were doing that cinnamon challenge, and people getting cinnamon in their lungs. It's quite coarse. So yeah, if you meet a woman with a cough, if you meet a Danish woman with a cough. In Brazil, it is a tradition to share your first slice of birthday cake with the one you love the most. Oh, this is very good. I love this one. This is really cool.
Pedaço.
His little brother's reaction. Really sweet.
Muito bem, Rian. Primeiro pedaço. Mamãe. Antônio! Ah! Que foi, amor? Ficou emocionado. Que foi, amor?
Anyway, that's an old video. This one is fucking crazy. The Suri tribe in Ethiopia believes that for a cow to produce more milk, you must eat its vagina and caress its udders. Here's a woman. This is just so fucked up. I wonder if the cow knows what the fuck. Oh, shit. You ever gone down on a cow? It's probably not that pleasant. But she seems to be an expert. She's going hard. Holy fuck. That one cracks me up. Just get in there. People from these parts of the world have this weird fucking relationship with cows. If we see a farmer doing this to a cow, we tend to lock him up. Over there, it's just, hey, I needed more milk. Oh, shit. There is a tribe in Indonesia that digs up their dead relatives once a year, dresses them well, and cleans them to mark a celebration of their lives. They do this kind of thing in Hollywood, actually. What was her name? She was in E.T. They rode around with her father on a boat when he was dead. Yep. So they do. In Myanmar and Thailand, Kayan women wear brass bands around their necks to lengthen their necks, considering a sign of beauty and cultural pride. I don't think it makes them more attractive. I think it makes them look weird. But this is like the things that women do to make themselves more attractive. I can't really criticize this because women in the West do fucked up things to their lips and their tits. I mean, this is essentially the same thing. Women have always done this kind of nonsense. Like, we like you the way you are. We're perfectly happy with normal lips. An irregular neck. Yeah, she's itchy. She's got an itchy neck. All right. Oh, this one. This one's at least practical. This one, it's like, well, I can relate to it. Okay. In Nigeria, the Kalabari have a wedding tradition in which the bride does not laugh or smile until she's satisfied with the amount of money given to her during the traditional marriage. Look, this bitch is just not smiling at all. If you can stop yourself from laughing or smiling, you're getting paid. Look at this. They're just stacking bills on her. I am not happy yet. No, I am not happy. I will not be happy until all you bitches are broke. And they have all the money. Someone behind her tickling with a feather, trying to get her to laugh. In Papua New Guinea, when someone dies, family members cut off their own fingers as a sign of mourning. How practical. Sorry, I would help out, but I've got no fingers. My family died. If family dies and then you cut off your... Like, it's just making it worse, surely. In Thailand, during the Phuket Vegetarian Festival, religious people pierce their cheeks, tongues, and bodies with sharp objects to purify themselves and honor the gods. Okay. Oh, Jesus, that guy taking it seriously. This just looks like a village of people who are severely accident prone. It's just, oh, fuck. I don't know. I woke up like this. I've known people who've done stuff like that. There's a guy called Stellark that used to pin himself to... He'd hang himself by hooks and swing himself around on a crane. Number 10, a tradition of the Banana tribe in southern Ethiopia, where young men walk on wooden sticks that look like stilts. Well, see, there's a practical use for that. You can get to the top of the shelf, you know. You get things off a high shelf. You can go and have a chat with some giraffes. That's a practical. That doesn't seem that odd to me. That seems. Look at them. They're fucking good at it. Climbing hills. Oh, the ancient Chinese tradition of foot binding. Seriously. Why would you do this? I mean, this is not so much something they did to themselves. This was more something they had done to them. Oh. That's some savage shit. All right. In Spain, during La Tomatina, people throw tomatoes at each other in a massive food fight held every year for fun and celebration. And that's probably how they make their tomato sauces as well. They just sweep it up after and it's like, hey, we got ketchup. Several African tribes have historically practiced a tradition to sharpen teeth into pointed shapes for attractiveness. Yeah, I mean, look how hot this woman is. Look at that. That is, oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Black teeth. Black pointy teeth. Oh, that dude's smashing it. He's absolutely killing it. I'm guessing they don't believe in oral sex. Fucking. Oh, man. This Papua New Guinea tribe mummifies past chiefs and places them on an altar. There you go. That's one way to be remembered. In Nordic countries, babies napping outdoors in cold weather, a tradition believed to boost immune system, enhance overall health. Well, there is evidence to show that the cold is quite good for you. But actually, it's the warm, being warm all the time, that'll eventually slow you down. 16. Men in devil costumes are jumping over lines of babies in Spanish religion. Oh, man. They're jumping over lines of babies in the Spanish religious festival dating back to the 1600s. That's hilarious. Let's see him jump over the babies. Who volunteers their baby for this? What if they don't make it? Your kid's growing up with a massive dent in its head. You've got to explain that you just let people jump over the baby. Yeah, good stuff. The Orange Battle, Ivrea, Italy. I don't know what this is. I guess it's fairly self-explanatory. Throwing oranges at each other. Well, that's, I think I prefer the tomatoes. I think oranges would be a bit more painful. There you go. In South Korean wedding culture, it is traditional for the groom to bow deeply to his wife, sometimes even kneeling and touching his forehead to the ground. Ah, what a cuck. Dude is cucked. Look at this. He's cucking. He's going to cuck. Yep. What a cuck. Here we go. Jesus Christ. All right, we're going to finish on semen drinking. What a place to finish. I have heard of this. I've heard of it. I know people here in the West, a lot of people in the West are very fond of this. So, cultures get around. It's a cultural thing. Semen drinking. In the Sambia tribe of Papua New Guinea, when a boy turns 7, he is removed from the presence of all females. It is believed that women can be dangerous to men. Well, they got that right. Yeah, see, it's not all foolishness. And supposed to consume semen from an older man for the next 10 years. I think this tradition was invented by a pervert. I gotta say. This marks their rite of passage from boyhood to manhood. Young boys have to accumulate semen either by receiving oral penetrations or by swallowing the ejaculations of older males. It is believed they become excellent warriors if they ingest large quantities of sperm. Well, I know that there's quite a few quite a few stories out there about gay couples adopting young boys who